Hi guys, I'm Mark and I'm an oyster boy, and today we're going to be talking about equipment, and this is what I'm going to be unboxing today. This is the Handcraft Supplies 25 litre stainless steel fermenter. It's available in 25 litres and 15 litres, but most of the batches that we make are 21 or 23 litres or 19 litres. Either way, bigger than 15 litres. So I'm going to be unboxing this one, talking about this. It's got some cool features that I'm going to show you and talk about, such as the conical bottom, which is great for efficient trub collection, and also a rotating dip tube, which means that you can get the most out of your batch. You're going to waste less liquid with that. So let's get it out of the box, let's get it put together and talk about some of the features of this fermenter. Okay guys, now everything's out of the box and we can see the fermenter in all of its glory. Here it is, nice and shiny and lovely. Big step up from like a plastic bucket. One of the main advantages of stainless is that you will not get like scratches and little micro abrasions on the inside like you might with a plastic fermenter if you scrub it a bit too hard, where bacteria can just live and fester. With this, you won't have to worry about that, and cleaning is going to be, probably quite a bit easier because of the extra chemicals or processes you'll be able to use to get this spotless and shiny again. When you open it up, inside the packaging, it comes with a very big, robust tap assembly. This bit goes on the outside, obviously, well, up to that washer. That Teflon nut goes on the inside and that washer. And then this all goes on the inside as well. And this is quite cool, actually, because this is sort of like conical at the bottom. So this dip tube, when you put it in, you can put it in like that way, so you can draw all of your beer off, and then as it starts to get lower you can actually rotate this down, sort of pick up the last bits without disturbing too much of the trub or getting too much of that filtered through. So that's that bit. Also comes with a bung and an airlock for this quite large opening at the top, which means if you wanted to dry hop in as well, you can just take that bung out rather than having to take the whole lid assembly off. And also a nice stick-on thermometer to help you know what sort of temperature you're working at as well. On the inside of the unit, just at the back over here, it is graduated with measurement marks in both gallons and litres, so you know how much water you're going to be putting in, and you haven't got to sort of like remember how many buckets or how many jugs you've put in there. But I'm going to get this popped together now and have a look at it. It does feel pretty good quality, pretty nifty and thick as well. So when you put in the tap assembly together, here's what it'll look like. This white Teflon nut needs to go on the inside. This rubber washer goes on the outside. So we'll just take that off there. And you might just get a shot of my arm here, I'm unsure, we'll see. So tap goes in, Teflon goes on. Let's get that nice and just hand tight on there. And then you'll see this is the other assembly there, which has got another sort of rubber washer in there. And this is going to screw onto the back of here. And now that that's in and screwed in, what it should mean is, it says in the instructions to leave the angle of the dip tube here at the same angle as the handle of the tap. So now, if imagine we're transferring the beer out, and you can see this is sort of like conical towards the bottom down here. If I rotate the tap, you'll see that the dip tube runs down and you'll be able to pick up as much beer as possible from that fermenter, which is pretty handy. Okay, everything's put together. We've got our little temperature thermometer sticker thing on the side, so we can see that currently it's about 22 degrees in my kitchen or open plan bit. The lid has a nice sort of rubber silicone seal all around the outside, and once you put that on, you can then use these clips here to clamp the lid down. Now, the bung goes in the top with the airlock in there. Boom, and you're good to go. Now, this is not a pressure fermenter, so you can't ferment under pressure. It would just fire the bung out of the top, or if you weren't to have the airlock in, if you tried to put a spunding valve in, the bung assembly would just pop out. However, you still can do a closed transfer in this if you wanted to. So this is the bung that it comes with. Here, I'll just pull this out and show you. Bung, airlock, simple. Now, this is just one of those cheap plastic posts. This hole in this bung, a bit too big. If you get a piece of floating dip tube like this and push it on, all we're using this for really is to make the post a little wider. And then once that's on, that will sit very snugly inside there. Pop that into there, and then rather than using the airlock, you can use a spunding valve set to basically the lowest pressure, so it'll expel all of the gas. But what that does mean is that when it becomes time to transfer this beer out, if you're using a keg, you can then plot your keg on the floor and you can attach the liquid out. You could put some hose with a disconnect on to put it into the keg, and then the liquid out to liquid out, and then the gas out you would then connect to here, and the siphon effect would then start the closed transfer process. So you can still do an oxygen-free transfer from it, even though it's not a pressure fermenter. That's what it took me a long time to say. Other benefits about this: you can't melt it for starters. Penny has absolutely ruined an Apollo by melting it, and he dropped his chubby, which has smashed half the side off it. This thing looks fairly indestructible. It's not flimsy. The price point where this is at, it's really, really good quality stainless that's been used to make it. It is fairly sturdy. I mean, you'll probably end up with a dent in it at some point, but not yet. And these handles, I'm going to test it, but I'm going to whack 25 litres of liquid in there now and just give it a pick up and make sure they're sturdy as hell. So we'll give that a little look now. Right, so we're back, and as I said, this is the top setup that I would use if I was fermenting in this, which is a spunding valve set to the fully open position. Purely so that when it does become time to transfer the beer out, I can just whip this off, and I could either gently push some gas back in here to replace the headspace as the liquid comes out, if you were just doing it with a siphon tube going down into your keg, and you'd blast that keg with some CO2, or you'd fully purge your keg with CO2, you'd attach the gas in to here, and then you would put a hose on here going to the liquid outpost on the keg, open it all up and just watch it flow through with no oxygen getting into your beer. So that's what I would use. Now this has got 25 litres of liquid in it. I am going to pick it up by these handles, which are welded onto the side, and we're going to make sure they don't snap off. Now, normally you would try and avoid moving your fermenter when it's full of beer, but we're going to give it a go anyway, and hopefully, oh God, it feels sturdy. Oh, I'm not so strong. Doesn't feel like that's going anywhere. And we've got this tap on the front here, so we'll just see that that works fine. Lovely. It's open. It's closed. No drippy drippies. All good. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's video. Just to summarise, what you've got here is a high quality stainless steel fermenter available in 25 and 15 litres with a rotating dip tube allowing you to get as much volume out as you can. And it's at a pretty affordable price point as well. If you're currently using plastic buckets, one thing you'll come to realise, if you haven't already, is that they are like a perishable good. They will only last you for so long before you have to replace it, because you've either got the plastic going brittle because it's had the sunlight on it too much, or it's got scratches in there and you're getting hidden infections. There's some other guys on YouTube that just kept like absolutely ruining their beer because of the plastic fermenters they were using. Stainless, it shouldn't really have any of those issues. This tap assembly comes apart completely for you to clean the inside of it. You can clean and sanitize this in much better ways than you can with a plastic fermenter, and you're not going to have those scratches to harbour any little nasties inside either. So, oh yeah, and you can't melt it. You can't melt it and you can't break it. So one of these probably should last you a lifetime, I mean, you'll probably have to replace the airlock and the bung at some point, but everything else on there will be good to go. So I'll whack a link in the description down below for where you can pick one of these up from, and thanks very much for watching. Oysters out.